2 and 3. Hal, state, and maqam, position. Well known amongst the terms of irfan are hal, state, and maqam, position. The state is that which descends upon the arif's heart regardless of his will, while his position is that which he earns and attains through his efforts. The state quickly passes, but the position is lasting. It is said that the states are like flashes of lightning that quickly vanish. Hafiz says, "A lightning flash from Layla's house at dawn. Goodness knows what it did to the love-torn heart of Majnun." And Sa'di says, "Someone asked of he who had lost his son, 'O enlightened soul, O wise old man, all the way from Egypt you smelt his shirt. Why could you not see him in the well of Canaan?' Said he, 'My state is like a lightning flash. A moment it is there, another moment gone. Often it lifts me to the highest sky, and often I see not what is at my feet.' Should a dervish in his state persist, the two worlds will lie in his hands." Above we already quoted the following sentence from the Nahj al-Balagha, which is relevant here too. He has revived his intellect and slain himself until his bodily and spiritual bulkiness shrunk, and his coarseness turned into tenderness. Then effulgence, like brilliant flash of lightning, shone into his heart, and illuminated the path before him. Nahj al-Balagha, Khutab, number 220, page 337. The Urafa call these flashes Lawami and Tawali, depending upon their degree of intensity and length of duration. 4 and 5. Qabd, contraction, and Bast, expansion. These two words are also amongst those to which the Urafa apply a special meaning. They refer to two contrasting spiritual states of the Arif's soul. Qabd, contraction, refers to a sense of desolation felt by it, while Bast, expansion, is a state of expansion and joy. The Urafa have discussed these two states and their respective causes extensively. 6 and 7. Jam, gatheredness, and Farq, separation. These two terms are much used by the Urafa. According to Kushairi, that which is on the part of the creature, and acquired by the creature, and worthy of the station of creaturehood, is called Farq, while that which is on the part of God, such as inspiration, is called Jam. He whom God makes halt at the station maqam of obedience and worship is at the station of Farq, and he upon whom God reveals his favors is at the station of Jam. Hafiz says, "Listen to me with the ear of awareness, and for pleasure strive. For these words come at dawn from the caller unseen. Stop thinking of separation, that you become gathered. For, as a rule, the angel enters as soon as the devil leaves." 8 and 9. Ghaiba, absence, and Hudur, presence. Ghaiba is a state of unawareness of creation. Ghaiba is a state of unawareness of creation that occasionally descends upon the Arif, in which he forgets himself and his surroundings. The Arif becomes unaware of himself due to his presence, Hudur, before God. In the words of a poet, "I am not so occupied with you, for the memories of bygone selfhood still flash within my heart." In this state of presence with God and absence from himself and his surroundings, it is possible that important occurrences take place around him without his becoming aware of them. In this connection, the Urafa have many famous stories. Qushayri writes that Abu Hafs al-Haddad of Nishabur left his trade as a blacksmith because of one incident. Once, as he was busy working in his shop, someone recited a verse of Holy Quran. This put al-Haddad in a state that rendered him totally heedless of his sensible surroundings. Without realizing it, he removed a piece of red-hot iron from the furnace with his bare hand. His apprentice cried out to him and he returned to his senses. Thereupon, he gave up that trade. Qushayri also writes that Al-Shibli once came to see Junayd while Junayd's wife was also sitting there. Junayd's wife made a movement as if to leave, but Junayd stopped her, saying that Al-Shibli was in a state and heedless of her. She sat a while. Junayd conversed with Al-Shibli for some time until Al-Shibli slowly began to cry. Junayd then turned to his wife, telling her to wail herself, for Al-Shibli was returning to his senses. Hafiz says, "As every report that I heard has led to perplexity, from now on it is me, the cup-bearer, and the state of heedlessness. If it is presence you want, do not be absent from him, Hafiz. When you meet what you desire, abandon the world and forget it." It is along these lines that the Urafa explain the states of the Awliya during their prayers, in which they become totally heedless of themselves and of their surroundings. Later we shall see that there is a level higher than absence, and it was this that the Awliya were subject to. 10, 11, 12, and 13. Dhawq, Shorb, Sukr, and Ri. The Urafa believe that mere conceptual knowledge of anything has no attraction. The attractiveness of a thing and the ability to inspire passion is subsequent to testing. At the end of the 8th section of his Al-Isharat, Ibn Sina mentions this. He gives the example of a man who is impotent. He says that, however much one may describe sexual pleasure to a person devoid of the sexual instinct, who has never had the taste of this pleasure, he will never be sexually aroused. Thus, dhawq is the testing of the pleasure. In the terminology of Irfan, it means the actual perception of the pleasure derived from manifestations, tajalliyat and revelations, mukashafat. Dhawq is the beginning of this. Its continuance is called shorb, drinking, its joy, sukr, intoxication, and being satiated with ri, thirst quenching. The Urafa are of the view that whatever is derived from dhawq is an appearance of intoxication, tasakur, and not intoxication, sukr, itself. Intoxication, they say, is obtained from drinking, shorb. That which is obtained by becoming quenched, ri, is sobriety, sahu, or the return to the senses. It is in this sense that the Urafa have talked much about sharab and may that would ordinarily mean wine.